Starts off episode 6, some long cuts of establishing, hey, we're back in this world, this is what's happening now. Jon Snow and Davos, who got left behind by Stannis.
Yeah.
Sir Davos. And they show Davos discovering Jon Snow's body and,
dead body.
you know, just like the little small core Jon Snow clique that's still left in Castle Black. And those shenanigans. And meh.
It was kind of a slow start to a season. I mean, there was a couple of interesting things that happened. Like, Daenerys, she was captured by the Dothraki. And, you know, what was funny was that they kept talking about her in the Dothraki language. And she just kept kind of like, you know, rolling her eyes because she understood the whole time. And then, you know,
Playing it off
like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm so dumb. So then she meets the Cal, the king, I guess, of the Dothraki.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's like, you're
Khal
gonna...
Morro.
Khal Morro, yeah. You're gonna be my slave. And, you know, like, the gaggle of women that are around him are just like, you know, just cut her head off. You know, just kill her. And then she says that she was the widow of Khal Drogo. And he pretty much cuts her hands loose and, you know, apologizes for being such a jerk to her. And then she discovers that the fate of all Khal widows is to spend the rest of their lives together, which is the worst thing for a queen.
Yeah, so it's a bit... It seemed like, hey, I'm going to turn the situation to my favor, but nah. But it didn't work out that way at all. Yeah. And also what happened when they showed Varys and Tyrion with the destruction of the ships that she was eventually supposed to use to go invade Westeros with. Like, those are destroyed.
Yeah.
So it seems like the fates are turning against her.
Like, she's been riding too high for too long. Something bad had to happen to her. I was saying another surprising thing was Sansa and Theon.
What was so surprising about it for you?
I just thought they were going to get caught and they were going to get brought back to the Bolton Castle. I didn't think that Brienne and Podrick would
find her so quickly.
Find her and save them. And then she finally accepted Brienne's help.
Yeah.
Like, Brienne vowed to protect her, to be her armor in a sense. Which was kind of awesome. Because she's a brute.
I don't know how I felt about that scene. It seemed... Because what happened with that scene for me while I was watching it was that I remembered all the scenes with Theon before when Ramsay was breaking him and how he had the escape and then they brought him back and then like, oh, here's a glimpse of glory or here's a glimpse of hope and I'm going to crush it. Here's a glimpse of, oh, you like women? Like, oh, I'm going to take your balls, your dicks or whatever. And it seemed like it would be too much. It didn't really feel like they would do it again. Like, they could have thematically, but just because Theon specifically went through that whole process with Ramsay before, and they showed the whole arc of him breaking away, it just seemed like, all right, something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna interrupt. I didn't quite think it'd be Brienne because of all the building they did in the last season of her choosing Stannis over waiting for the signal from the tower. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, what can you say?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess Game of Thrones is kind of an exception, but like, when a character has just been through like the worst of it and has just got the shit end and like the worst luck, something good has to happen for them. And I think this was like a good thing that happened to two very terrible characters who just, well, not terrible characters who got terrible luck. But it could also be a like switch or bait and switch where like you think that things are good and then they run into somebody even worse than Ramsay Bolton. The last really exciting thing that happened, the title of the episode,
The Red Woman.
The Red Woman.
I didn't see that coming. Like, they did it really well, and I watched that bit where she takes off the necklace a couple times.
Yeah.
And even when her putting it down, like, the camera's out of focus until she pulls her hand away, so she couldn't even tell. Like, they just framed it and directed it and shot it from maximum, like, boom, you didn't see this coming, did you?
Yeah.
We're not, preface this, we're not readers of the book series. We haven't read the book series. I don't really plan on reading the book series either.
I read a couple of theories about this that were based on the books, though.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the theories that was debunked was that the necklace that she takes off was like keeping her appearance youthful. But there's a scene in a previous there's a scene in a previous season where she's taking a bath and she doesn't have the necklace on. So that's out the window. But in the books,
it could be a mistake.
Could be.
Technically.
But in the books, they have, they talk about, like, witches and glamoring. So she could very well be, like, really old and she's just, like, tricking everyone into thinking that she's this youthful beauty.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into the books because, like I said, we haven't read them personally.
No.
So, but it's, even at the same time, it still plays into the glamoring is still changing, illusionary appearance changing.
Yeah.
So, it could still serve the same purpose. I'm not sure if it's like the red, the red fire, what do they call that person?
The God of Light?
The God of Light. They've shown that they were the people in previous seasons who the one guy was bringing back the other guy back to life.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she's using that in a way, that culty, whatever it is.
Maybe she has to do a bunch of things to appease the God of Light until she can return to this young beauty. Or maybe she's being cursed and she's trying to break the curse.
Could be. It's just really interesting how they had her take it off because she looks at her own appearance for such a long time. Then she takes off her clothes and then she takes off the necklace. Then she looks at herself even longer. Then she goes to bed and then the episode cuts. And usually, like, to me, that says more about, you know, trying to hold on to an appearance because it's something you would see in other witch related things where a witch is trying to hold on to her appearance, like a motivation for becoming a witch in the first, you know what I mean? So it's more like trying to keep the appearance or trying to stay young and beautiful. The thought I had when I was looking at the scene was it seems more of either the necklace is prolonging her life itself or
like an amulet.
Yeah, or
Amulet. Yeah.
She herself has life lengthening things, but it doesn't keep the beauty. It doesn't keep the youth.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how it goes and what the rest of the season has in store. 9 more episodes. A lot can happen in 9 episodes.